David says, were you disappointed that Chris Isaak did not appear in season 3? Yes and no. I mean, obviously we wanted to see Chris Isaak. I mean, who wouldn't have not wanted to see him? But because he wasn't put on the cast list, of course, all of us, we hoped that the cast list wasn't the final cast list. It turns out it pretty much was the final cast list. But we were always hoping that Chris Isaak or Heather Graham or someone like that was going to show up and or David Bowie and surprise us. And I actually met Chris Isaak last year, actually, and we talked about it. We talked about season 3 and Chet Desmond, and he told me why he wasn't in season 3. They apparently had made the call to see if he wanted to be in it, and he was very ill. And so he, obviously put his health first and took care of himself, and it just wasn't going to work out in terms of timing. So he really would have been in season 3 if he had felt better. That actually put me at ease a little bit, that it wasn't like a complete shutout, considering the fact that Fire Walk with Me does play such an important role in season 3. I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Season 3 is pretty much Mark Frost trying to work Fire Walk with Me into the larger continuity, and David Lynch using season 3 to redeem Fire Walk with Me in the eyes of many and officially make it part of the canon that you cannot ignore. So, it would make sense for Chet Desmond to come back. I don't know what the extent is. I mean, he didn't even know what the extent of the part was going to be, nor did I pry that, from him. But he had been asked if he would just be interested in being a part of it. And he said he would have been if he wasn't ill. But the cool thing besides that, was that he had heard about Queen of Hearts. Obviously he wasn't following the day-to-day struggle of it, but he had heard about it. And he told me, he said, is there a cameo for me? And I was like, now you tell me. He said, I just want to show up. He goes, Cameron, this is what I want to do. I want to show up, and just the camera's on me in a close-up, and I want to say, Annie, watch out for the blue rose. If it wasn't for the no camera video recording policy that we were there, and there were handlers all around him, so this was not something that, because I'm sure Chris Isaak, he's such a cool guy, he would have been like, who cares? But there were so many people around him that it would have been impossible, because I was ready. I was so ready to like whip out my phone and just say, let's just do it right now. Let's just do it right now. I don't care if you're in your concert outfit, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. However, I thought that was incredibly cool and generous for him to even say something like that. So sweet. To top it all off, his concert was the first night that my wife and I had out since Mr. C. And Chris Isaak, we were in the second row, and Chris Isaak dedicated a song to my wife and I. He said that he was very touched that he met us, and it was our first night out, without the baby, and he said that he was very happy to have met us, and he dedicated a song to my wife and I, and I thought that was incredibly awesome. So he, told me that why he wasn't a part of season 3. Then he told me he wished he could cameo in Queen of Hearts, and then he dedicated a song to my wife and I. So Chris Isaak very well could be one of the coolest men ever to walk the globe. So if you happen to ever see him in concert or anything like that, go out there and support the guy. He gives one hell of a great show, and it's truly like awesome to be in his presence.